lesson now. And the good news is really this is just a combination of ideas from before. So what are we going to do? We're going to deal this time with sort of a combination of more than one bracket. So surd rules say that this is the same as the root of what is on the top over the root of what is on the bottom. And I'm going to bring this part here up to the top. So let's just write the whole thing then as 1 plus x to the power of a half. That's the numerator. I've just changed the square root to index form. And then the other part, the 1 minus x, I'm going to change it to minus a half. Okay, and you get a mark for doing this, just for the index form often. So what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to do the expansion for the left, then we're going to do the expansion for the right, and then can you see we're going to multiply them together? And we're going to show that this is about 1 plus x, so looking at the first 3 terms by the look of it, or perhaps actually even less. So let's do the expansion. 1 plus nx, this is going to be a half, isn't it? A half x, and let's do one more term, plus, what am I going to have over here? So n times n plus 1 is going to be minus a quarter. I'm going to have minus an eighth x squared. Okay, the only reason I can do that quickly is because I know it's just 1x. I don't have to take any numbers out for the 1 and so on. Okay, dot, dot, dot. Why am I not going to go any further for this one? Well, it's because if I look at the answer here, can you see it only goes up to x squared? So what's the point in looking for x cubed or x to the 4? There's no point. Okay. If I do the part then on the right hand side, what am I going to get? Well, a 1 to start with, sure. And then an nx. So the n is minus a half here, isn't it? And the x here is a minus x. So this is where, you know, it doesn't really pay to skip steps here when there's lots of negatives. So I'm going to have minus a half. Okay, and I'm also going to have a minus x, aren't I? So that will actually be positive. So plus a half x. Okay, and we'll do one more term. So the n times n minus 1 is going to be minus a half. There's going to be a minus 3 over 2, a 2, and then there'll be a minus x, which will be squared. Okay, that'll be the third term. So it's going to be positive. It's also going to be positive over here. It's going to be what? 3/8 x squared. Okay. So what we're going to actually have to do with this, well, we're going to have to multiply, aren't we? We're going to have to multiply this, and we're hoping to get to something like this. And it's going to be a bit hard to see how it all goes together, but you might see a couple of clues. The 1 and the 1. A half and a 1, a half and a 1 to make an x, okay, and so on. The x, and if you have like an x times an x squared, which will give you an x cubed and so on, we're just going to ignore that because we're just showing an approximation. It's not actually equal, is it? So the best way to do it, I would say, is to do a little bit of grid multiplication. So let's do 1, let's do a half x. Let's do a minus a quarter, sorry, not a quarter, that's an eighth, minus an eighth x cubed, a 1, a half x, and a 3/8 x squared. And doing a bit of grid, sorry, I know it's a little bit messy, it's a bit hard on my tablet though to keep it neat. So I'm going to get 1, I'm going to get a half x, I'm going to get minus an eighth x squared. I'm going to get a half x. These will be my 2 half x terms that will give me the x. This will be my 1 term that will give me 1. So there's my 1 plus my x. A half x and times a half x is going to be a quarter. And because there are eighths, I could maybe say 2/8 x squared. And this is going to be 3/8 x squared. Add all the x squareds together, I will get 4/8 x squared, which is the same as are half x squared. Okay, the other terms will be cubes and so on, so I won't